Hello guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the West Ham World YouTube channel. Hope you're all well. I'll be back tonight with a preview for the Palace game, which is a massive game. I am going because I need to be there for the protest. The game is more of a do I really need to go and watch, purely because of how bad things are at the minute and how dross the football is. But I will be there. I will be at that protest. It'd be nice to see some of yous. If you're about, you see me, come say hello. I'd love to meet some of you guys. I'm looking forward to meeting, some of the other West Ham channels I've not met as well. I've never met Nick from Claret and Booze. Hoping I get to meet him as well. Met Nicky, met Dan and Ryan and all that before. Met Gio if he's there, Gonzo, met all them. But yeah, it'd be nice to see these guys, on Saturday, and have a chat with them. But yeah, if you do see me over there, please come and say hello. Nice to meet you. Anyway, this video is about just some of the news that's out there. So we'll start with the Graham Potter one. Apparently, if he loses, I don't know whether it's if he draws, don't know. We've been there before. He will be sacked this week. The line out of the club was that it won't be a long, drawn-out thing like it has been with Moyes and previous matches where it went on for far too long. Probably one of the main reasons is that Potter's contract is not that long. Before we've had managers where they've got like 2 years left or a year and a half left. Potter's only got till the end of this season, so it won't be a massive expensive payout for West Ham if they were to sack him. This must mean for that news to come out, it must mean we've got people lined up. There was the Kieran McKenna rumours. I think it's going to be Nuno. I think Nuno's going to be the one that comes in. Listen, I'm not fully against it. I'm not fully for it. It's another one of those, like, he's a mer manager, isn't he? If he comes in like that, by that I mean, it's not fully inspiring, but it's not the worst. Like, the worst would be a Southgate or a Dyche, where you're just thinking, oh my God, like the football's going to be turgid. Someone like Dyche would probably keep us up, but it's going to be absolute turgid football. With Nuno, you could argue that he's done a good job nearly everywhere he's been, except for maybe Tottenham. I don't fully know the Tottenham stuff, so maybe it's a bit unfair I know the Tottenham guy I worked with said his football wasn't great, but he'd done a great job at Forest, getting them back in Europe for the first time in a generation. Played good football at Wolves, they were very, effective at what they did. And obviously, Forest, he wasn't sacked because of results or anything. He it's just because he called out the chairman, and that cost him really. I'm not fully against it. Like I say, I'm not fully against it. I think he'll work well with the, Fernandes and the Brazilian and Portuguese contingent that we're getting. And if he was to come in, expect to get more players like that. And also, if he does come in, you would expect that, there's got to be something there. Whoever comes in at West Ham, there's got to be something there that, look, you're going to give me some money in January to go and get a striker, probably a centre-half. If it was Nuno as well, we would need one of them burly, strong centre-halves, a Dawson, Milenkovic style player, that are a bit more nasty and horrible. So yeah, like I say, what do you guys think? I can see us going and getting a draw now, and then it'll be like a purgatory thing again. I never want West Ham to lose, obviously, but Gio always says it really, really well. If there's anyone who sums it up really well, if you're talking to other managers and you've decided that, he's only got one game or he'll be sacked. If he wins that game and then goes and loses the next 3, what was the point? What was the point? If he's not the right man, sack him now. Sack him now. Give that manager a chance to steer his stuff, have a look at the team. There's some good players there. There's some bloody good players there. And it's just about someone coming in and knowing what's right. One thing we will know, though, if it's Nuno, he was the one who didn't play James Ward-Prowse at Forest. So we could see the end of James Ward-Prowse. Let's go quickly into the comments before going to the next bit. I'm glad you're going, mate. Yep, I will be there. I will be there Saturday. big protest. Talk a little bit more about that later tonight when I do the Palace preview. It's going to be brilliant. You know, I think it's going to be real good. Just behave yourself. Everyone behave yourself. I know previous ones we've behaved ourselves. Most thing, that's terrible grammar. The thing that Sullivan and the board and that want the most is to be able to play the media and twist it. You know, they want to be able to control the narrative. Oh, it's just fuck West Ham fans. Oh, look at them, troublemakers. No. We keep it nice, keep it quiet. We sing our songs, wave our flags if you've got them. And we send a message. Get out of our club. It's been too long. You can't take us any further. Goodbye. What we got here? What did you think of the statement? I'm going to go on to that, mate, in a minute. Just give me 2 seconds, Andrew. I'm just going to go on to that. Watching the under-21s, I just can't understand how none of these lads get in the team. Agreed, mate. They can't do any worse. Give them 10 minutes. Fair on and people like that. 10 minutes. I'm not saying start games. I'm not saying even get half an hour in games. But give them a chance. They can't do any worse. Callum Marshall's an absolute pest, like in terms of pressing and finishing. You got Farron, who looks class. Kante looks really good. Potts was playing every single pre-season game. Can't even get a sniff. He'd rather bring Rodriguez off the bench or Irvine. What we got here? Was very impressed with. Yeah, Kante's a beast. Just said that, mate. Yep, the hammer. Right. Yeah. So Andrew just said there. What did I think of the statement? Listen, it was a bloody long statement, wasn't it? Jesus Christ. So what I actually did is interesting. You should try and do it, guys. If you ain't got time to read it, just what I did is I copied and pasted every single thing in that statement and put it into ChatGTP and said to ChatGTP, how much of this is lies and how much of this is a puff piece, and how much stuff is actually answered in there. So they said this is a typical board, very high biased, and lots of answers that are very open-ended with no actual solution. You know, very heavily like, oh, we won the cup, we're a massive club, without sort of saying we've got the ambition to make us the club that they think we are. You know, they're acting as if we're like Real Madrid, Manchester United, Barcelona, etc., with, you know, a little budget. There was lots of stuff about, oh, we will come back at the next one with a PowerPoint presentation. Woo, exciting. And then there's stuff about TIFOs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of puff and a lot of rubbish in there, really, mate. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I read it and I just thought, it's a load of crap. I've heard this all before. They're never going to admit, like, oh, we're not quite where we are, without taking any responsibility. There was a lot of that in there. But yeah, if you ain't read it, you got half an hour, have a read of it. But yeah, what I did, like I say, put in ChatGTP and told ChatGTP, can you break it down? How much is lies? How much is puff piece? And it was an interesting read. That was a more interesting read than what actually come out on the website. What we got here? Go to Hammers. Any betting tips? I'm not the best at betting, but I'll give you one. West Ham to lose. Put that in your hacker. Because we don't look like winning any. Or West Ham to concede 3 goals. That's the way we're playing at the minute, aren't we? Love the stadium. Do you really? Sneakily watching in class in Vietnam. Oh, there we go. Vietnam, of all people. Give us a like in Vietnam. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. There's not much else. Really. You know, everything's building to Saturday's protest. The Potter out. Yeah, like I say, I'm really looking forward to Saturday, the protest part. It's a shame that we are having a protest, you know, but ideally we'd be a better run club, and we wouldn't have to do that. But I'm looking forward, like, when you have these protests, you get old West Ham come out, you know, all the proper fans, you know, that want it, that are looking for change and stuff like that. Yeah, what we got here? Andrew says, any fixture changes for November? I can't say I've seen that. I know the Newcastle game's been moved, isn't it? Obviously they've got Champions League, so that's been moved from the Saturday to the Sunday. That's one thing I do know. Yeah, but I assume more fixtures will be changed because Champions Leagues and things like that. That's what West Ham are going to get beat. They know there's probably going to be 3-4 goals. So it's like, oh, put West Ham on. They'll get beat and the stadium collapses. And, you know, they've got headlines to write. What we got here? Would you start Mav and Aaron Wan-Bissaka at central defence? Good shout. It's a good shout. People will know on this channel because people always go, oh, you're so harsh on him. I don't like Kilman. I don't. I'm just not a fan of him. Massive Matthew Upson vibes he gives me. Coward. I thought Matthew was good, wasn't he? Up to a point. Obviously, he was at fault slightly for one of the goals the weekend. But at least he wants to get his head in and put his head in. He's the most physical of the defenders we've got. Tabita always looks like he's going to, you know, pass out after an hour. Mav, like I say, got a brain fight in him, but quite physical. Kilman I don't like. Igor we haven't seen yet. Maybe it's Igor's turn, you know, maybe Igor's turn. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka centre back could work. I do like Carl Walker-Peters though. I do like him at right back, but yeah, I want to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka come back. He's the best one-on-one defender we've got. And we're conceding goals. We're conceding far too many. Good question though, mate. Thanks for that. Coming over for the Burnley game. God help me. Oh, could we have a repeat of the Burnley game all them years ago, mate? I was at that game. The Burnley game where it all went very, very, very toxic very quickly. You know, the corner flag on the centre spot. Could it go that way? I tell you what, it's very close to being a hostile, toxic atmosphere. You know, one thing at the minute can boil us over. You know, we go 1-0 down on Saturday after the protest. Whoa, it could really be a hot pot of anger and intensity on Saturday. What we got there? Where are you going to be at the protest? Which part of the route? Hopefully at the beginning, mate. Obviously, I'm coming from Benfleet, getting in quite early, about 11 o'clock. I'm going to go Plastow, meet a couple of mates, have a nice fried breakfast. It's going to be a long day, 11 o'clock till 3 o'clock. Yeah, then I'll probably make my way to, I think, Pudding Mill Lane or Entrance B. There's a couple of little spots in there. But yeah, I'm hoping there's a good turnout though. But yeah, when I know where I am, I'll probably go on here, just live stream. You know, I want to show people, you know, what's going on, you know, for the people that can't be here. Like obviously Paul, who's from the channel, lives in Belfast, can't get over. And, you know, I think it's important that all the media channels, all the West Ham channels, West Ham Fan TV, Hammers Chat, Claret and Booze, all of them, you know, little Jake as well. He's not so little anymore, but, you know, we've all got to be there. We've all got to be putting out as much as we can, because mainstream media might not report it as much. You know, the TalkSport, although they seem to have turned a little bit on Sullivan, you know, we need to make sure we've got the real coverage of what's going on the ground. Where are we? What protest? Protest for West Ham. A protest to get Brady and Sullivan out of our club. Johnny Connor says, we need this coverage, mate. We do. We need the channels in there, and I'm sure there will be. You know, I think Nicky, Claret and Booze, Nicky, West Ham Fan TV, sort of said, you know, we're going to be in there interviewing the fans, getting it out there. Listen, I might not be there interviewing fans because I ain't as like confident and as well known as them channels, but I'll definitely be filming and you know, getting it out there for you, whether it's live, whether it's recorded. It'll be out there. What we got here? Sullivan's not talking to any media outlets, apparently. Yeah, that's true, mate. Yeah, apparently ex-West Ham employee reported that, didn't he? That he's not talking to me. That's a big step. That's a big show of where the media are now. You know, they're seeing it. They're seeing through the lights. They're not accepting their perspective anymore. They're actually starting to listen to the fans. And people that have been really pro-bald and pro-like, what's West Ham way? And starting to turn a bit. What we got here? Be quite hard. Seems like they're happy enough not progressing and staying in the Prem. It's true, mate. It's true, Ali, mate. That's a great summary, actually. What we got here? Johnny says, we need to get this word out, mate. These channels need to know the SP. They do, mate. They definitely do. Right, I'm writing at work now. What have I got today? Teaching boxing today for my PE kids, for my year 6 boys and girls. Yeah, but then I'll get home, probably bang FIFA on, because FIFA comes out today, doesn't it, for early release. I know, 40-year-old man playing FIFA, that's sad. But yeah, I'll get home, play that, and then I'll probably film the Crystal Palace preview later tonight, and get that out for you. What we got here? A couple more here. What would your aim for the club be? To be competitive on the pitch, to constantly try and build on the success or failures of the previous season. We've had too many occasions in the past few years where we've been so close, where we've been sitting in 6th or 5th at one point under one season, and they didn't invest properly in January. There's been times, you know, when we got to the semi-final of the Europa League, again, would have got a good striker in, you know, a couple of good players to really go and do it. Who knows? If we would have won that Europa League, we're in the Champions League. And then where'd you go from there? What players you can bring in then, you know? And then you really start getting excited. But it's bringing that back, yeah, that's my main aim. Just to keep us competitive and building, not settling, not standing still. You stand still in the Premier League, you go backwards. A couple more comments here, guys, and then I'm going to leave it because I'm very, very close to work now. What we got here? With the Sullivan's valuation of the club, it will never happen. I agree, Matt. I was saying that to my mate yesterday. He values it far too high, which is causing all the issues. To be a better club, 100%. Yeah, should be in a Europa at least. I'm not even that, mate. I'm not even going to say that that West Ham should be. I'm never going to talk like an entitled fan, where it's West Ham should be in Europe. It's not should be, but I always say we should be competing for a place there. You know, West Ham should be around 7th and 8th place every year, and if we have a really good season, might push into 6th, you know. But they're just happy with 15th, mate. They're happy with 15th. Like, I want to see West Ham every year getting up there. You know, by March, by the end of March, West Ham are still in a position where you're thinking, ooh, we can still get in the top 7 here, top 8 here. If we don't finish there, so be it. But to still be competitive by them is what I want. At the moment, I'm looking, going, another relegation battle, four games in. They'll be happy if we finish 17th, so they ain't got to worry about relegation. Andrew says, owners are happy to stay in the Premier League. It's true, mate. It's true. Right, this is a very, very long video. I am almost at work now. Have a good day, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's watching this. Have a really good day. Come on, you irons. Get that message out there. Get to the protest on Saturday. If you see me there, come and say hello. I'd love to see you all as well. Let's go.